And welcome to another episode of the Geek 2.0 podcast. Today we're going to dive into mostly gaming related stuff this episode.
Yeah.
Retro, new stuff, new wave, new age, hippy dippy. A little bit of everything.
Everything but VR, because we've already covered that.
Yeah, we already did the AR VR stuff. So what we're going to do first in the first part rant area is we're going to go over how it seems that story-based games are falling on the wayside.
Single player storylines. Everything seems to be going multiplayer online now, which isn't necessarily bad.
No, it's good, but it's kind of, I want to play a good story-based game.
Yeah.
Single play. I don't want to go up against 12-year-olds cussing and saying stuff about your mom.
And that could be just because we're old.
Yeah.
But no, I agree. I enjoy a well done, from story to graphic to game, just everything about it. I enjoy a good, I don't need to be online, I can pause when I need to.
Yeah, because that's a lot of the thing, because a lot of games are going into you have to have an internet connection in order to play.
Yes.
And if you don't, well, it's 60 gigs or whatever gigs just sitting there wasting on your computer.
Or console.
Or console. I will allow your console peasantness.
Oh, okay.
Because I have a PC Gamer Master Race.
Oh, that's all right. Apparently you've got the money to blow.
I do. Where?
Hey, if you're able to play on the computer, you must have the money to afford it.
Actually, no, because it's cheaper. You'll be surprised. But anyway, we have another whole PC versus console episode. But yeah, it's like certain games, like The Witcher 3 or even the Witcher series type games are like few and far between. From like PUBG, Fortnite, even
your Call of Duties.
Yeah, Call of Duties. Where, let's take Call of Duty for instance. And there are actually, I just heard that they're going to be doing like a battle royale type mode.
Well, they have that in all the Call of Duties.
Yeah, they have the multiplayer, but
yeah, that's kind of a battle royale.
Because I remember, playing the was it Medal of Honor?
Mm-hmm.
The first one as this came out. Not recently, but like years ago.
Yeah.
Where it was basically taking like the storming a Normandy beach.
Yep.
And having to go through that whole thing. It was actually really interesting and really fun. Single player game.
Very fun. Yeah.
But a lot of the times, a lot of kids these days are going for the action RPG or
they're going for the online. Yeah. The multi. The thing is it can almost be attributed to what they're used to. I mean, you look at, there's a lot of complaints with cell phones and the internet and the fact that kids don't socialize anymore. They're spending all their time on their phones and Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all that. And,
it's the instant gratification.
Yeah, well, that's just it. They are socializing. They're just doing it through a medium instead of being outside with their friends, which... Not all kids. Some kids still go outside and play. But anyways, it's the same thing. So
those
instead
are few and far between as well.
So instead of kids having friends over to the house and playing split screen and having LAN parties and all that stuff in the house, it's now everyone's in their own home playing online with their headsets. Yeah. So they're still playing with their friends and total strangers because it's open to the internet in a sense, but. So it's still there. It's just, it's a different mindset. When you and I grew up, it was, you had to have someone there. Like, I remember back in the day.
Wow.
Back in the day when you and I used to ride our bikes up to the Blockbuster Video on the corner to rent the console to go back to the house to play the games.
Yeah. Well, we'll get that in our main story with like retro gaming because we're going to dive deep into that. But yeah, it's one of those archaeological dig sites. Dig it out. This old, what was one of the consoles back in the day?
How far back you want to go?
Not too far.
Okay.
So like original Xbox. Or,
okay. So the Dreamcast, the PlayStations, the GameCubes.
So you'll dig that out from the ground next to T-Rex bones. But yeah, it's a lot of, I don't want to keep harping on kids these days because I do play some of these. I do play a little bit of Fortnite. My daughter loves playing it as well. She's just started playing it.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm the same way. When I was playing the original, or not original, when I was playing Skyrim when it first came out on the 360, and when I was playing Fallout 4, those are your single player, great story games. I was yearning for a multiplayer with it just because the world was yearning for it. Like it was open for it. It was so easy to add. Just obviously there's a lot of background that goes into building it, and that's a whole nother subject. But
it's a universe of playing within that world. And you want to okay, let's hop on and share that experience with other people. Yeah,
it was very odd. Like Fallout, it's meant to be this way, but Skyrim, it's such a massive world that you're playing in that because you're the hero. You're the only non-NPC in there. It felt very empty.
Then you get
because you could do whatever you wanted, and it didn't matter. It was your own little world. So to have an online experience where multiple people could be in there playing and you're battling, you don't have to be battling each other, but to be running around in that world, dungeon crawling together, would make for a whole different experience. Even if it wasn't a MMO in a sense, but if it was something where your friend also has the game in the console and you guys could log in together and run a dungeon, that would have been fine.
Yeah, because you didn't have to worry about, you had a single game. Because the game prices are still the same. They're $50-$60 each.
Easy.
But a lot of times, a lot of people are complaining, we covered this with the loot box episode. Okay, you're paying $60 for a game, but then take for example the Star Wars Battlefront 2. They did a multiplayer game, but they tacked on a single player experience, which felt tacked on. It wasn't fleshed out.
Yeah, that's not where they put their time and effort.
Right. But they were charging you for $60 experience, and then you want to do this, this, and this. But you want to hear the rest of the story when you want to look at our loot box episode.
Call back.
That was back episode 8. But yeah, a lot of times these developers, it's expensive. We're talking millions of dollars of development time.
Yes,
and 5+ years.
A lot of work, a lot of bugs. There is a lot,
and there's so many that get up to 3, 4, 5 years of development time, and either the studio is bought, closes, or they say, you know what, it's not working, and throw up their hands and let's do something else.
Yeah. Well, and there's a flip side to it because, not everyone, crazy to think about, but not everyone has internet or access to internet or even stable internet, especially when you get to remote locations.
Oh, especially in the U.S. I mean, you'd be lucky if you have one, maybe two internet providers, and if they're good.
Correct.
If you have data caps.
That's a lot of demand to, someone who wants to enjoy games that you have to have a lot of setup for it, regardless of what you're playing on.
Right.
If you're going to do online only games, and if you don't, that cuts out a large portion of the gaming market. Or even you do, like you were talking about, where it does have a single player and a multiplayer, you've now paid for all this gaming experience and you're only able to play a quarter to a half of it.
Right.
And it
doesn't make sense. It's not feasible. If you're let's say you're a hardcore single player gamer and I want to play a new Star Wars game, but it's a multiplayer first, story driven second.
Yeah.
And it's just one of those things that it doesn't. A lot of developers, they have to go where the money is, unfortunately.
Correct. Yeah, and that's just it. I can understand why they're doing it. doesn't mean that I agree with it. And at the same time, our kids are not really, I could be wrong in this, but I don't feel that they're really going to know the difference. Before this episode, you and I were joking around that they're going to look at single player non-online experiences as tutorials. So they're going to look at all of our old games and think that there was just $60 24-hour worth of gameplay tutorial.
Yeah, they'll look at it like, wait, this is... I already know how to play the game.
Yeah.
You told me like 5 minutes ago. What's the deal?
When do I actually get to play with people?
It's one of the things also is, like I said, with the developers and publishers, there are a few, like CD Projekt Red. I'm probably getting this wrong. They did the Witcher series.
Okay.
They are doing a new game called Cyberpunk's 2077, but it's like I said, mentioned, it's years in the making. It hasn't come out yet. And hopefully within 2019, 2020, it'll be coming out soon, which is another single story based game.
Okay.
They're a small indie, I'll not really say indie, but they're a small time developer. They're not like Bethesda or even EA, like the whole
EA Sports and
BioWare.
All that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, look what happened to another good, was it Mass Effect? Another good story-based game, but the developers kind of botched the whole thing with Andromeda.
Oh, okay.
And that whole controversy, and here's your half-baked... It's a story-based game, but then again, it's the budget and EA telling, okay, you got get released at this time. And if it's not, well, we see the effects.
Yeah.
It went to the $10 bargain bin within like months.
You know, it's one of those things I wonder, because I can see with like the Nintendo Switch, for example, where they're taking what's touted as a full-fledged console experience, but also portable, and the ability to play single or to split the controllers and play, two players on one.
Can't you? I think you can go like 4 players or something.
Possibly. I don't know.
I don't have a Switch.
Yeah, not yet. Neither do I. Not yet. Give it time.
Dirty consoles.
My collection will grow. So I can see where, at least with Nintendo, they may be trying to keep that alive. The bringing the friends in, playing with people that are with you.
Right.
But it seems like majority of the game manufacturers are just straight going for online.
Well, I think, like you said, when Nintendo is kind of like an outlier. I mean, they're focused on making games fun.
Yeah.
For all ages. Was it Breath of the Wild? Okay. One of like their big. It's the Legend of Zelda game.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
It's. Well, you had a brain fart there?
I did. I completely did. I recognized the name, but I couldn't think of what it was from.
Well, yeah, it's a single player game, and a lot of people love the Legend of Zelda series, and they will buy a console just for a Zelda game.
Yeah, even for me, that's a little far. But no, there's a lot of people that do it.
Fans, but
yeah,
they're hardcore.
Yeah.
They buy the Wii. What was the in between the Switch and the Wii? The Wii U.
Oh yeah,
the one that didn't sell too well.
Yeah.
Nintendo's like, we kind of forget that too.
That was just our test line for the Switch.
Yeah, pretty much. But they'll buy, because it has a Zelda game, they'll buy the Wii, the Wii U, and the Switch. And they won't play the other ones because, they'll play it just for the Zelda games. That's all they will buy. Because that is a series they are, like, passionate about.
Yeah.
And there's people that play the Mass Effect, and they hated Mass Effect 3 because of the ending. So BioWare redid a little bit, and they pushed out a patch, or DLC.
They George Lucased it?
Yeah, pretty much. They George Lucased it. So the results were 50-50. People liked it. People hated it. People resented him for doing it.
I don't blame him on that.
So it's one of the things like the developers are like, okay, so they're kind of like a catch-22.
Yeah, they are. I don't know. And the thing is, I'm not in the industry, so I don't know what is capable and what is feasible. But to me, why couldn't you release a single player game? And I'm sorry, I'm going to kind of stick to Skyrim and Fallout because to me those are great.
That's what you know.
Yeah, those are great games. Why couldn't you release a game like that and then release either a second game or an expansion to that game that gives you the multiplayer within that world? You know what I mean? Like, to me, I don't understand why that's not possible. And I could use Watch Dogs as an example. Okay. You know what I mean? Watch Dogs, mind you, it was built with that in mind, but that doesn't mean that other games can't do the same. But it was built with, you have your own world that you run around in, but you have the ability to interact with your friends or with total strangers that can jump into your world and run through.
Well, I'll take the Grand Theft Auto series. There is a very good single-player campaign mode.
Touche, yeah.
But they have added also, well, not added, but it was released at the same time, a online multiplayer version.
Yeah,
that you can go around and do whatever you want. And
they did a good job
constantly adding new stuff to the GTA 5 series.
Yeah.
And it's been, 4 or 5 years since that game's been released?
A good amount of time. And it's still got a good... It's weaning down. It is definitely weaning down, but it does still have a good following on it. Yes, that's a guy. I actually didn't even... I've played it, and I didn't even think about that one. That one is a good example of it done right, in my mind.
Yeah, Rockstar has done a good job with it because they know their fan base. I mean, yeah, they're not releasing DLCs for like story. No, I take that back because they do. It's the online version of it because they do like the what was the release one was the heist. I think is the newer one, but it's the multiplayer heist version.
Well, and the thing is that's interesting about it is they treated it as two games in one because they really are. Your single player story, you're playing as characters built into the game.
Yeah.
Then you're online, you're playing as your own character that you built. And at least it was my experience, and this is when GTA 5 was new, not now, but it was two completely different games. You went and you played that story. Once you play through the story, you got a good understanding of how the world works, how things control, which is awesome. You go through
the tutorial.
Exactly. Went through the tutorial. But then when I created and went into the online, it wasn't but like a minute into online, I was already killed by someone. Like it was instant. Like,
you get mowed down by somebody.
This is a whole nother world. Like I had to get used to a completely different game. But that was fun for me. It really expanded the experience
because it's something that no really good NPC type AI could do and replicate is another human.
Not yet.
True. Yeah. we talked earlier about the Google Duplex and how they're doing the assistant and all that, but the AI is so good, but there you can see where it kind of falls down because humans are so unpredictable. I mean, you'll be walking down the street, let's say GTA 5, you're walking down the street, going to your next mission. Next thing you know, you get mowed down you get run over by the other guy, or other players, or you get sniped or something. Or all of a sudden a jet lands on you.
Well, that was my mistake. I was too friendly, I guess you could say.
That's your problem.
Like, hey, buddy. Like I was following the little beginning story mission for online so they could show you like where the clothing stores are, where the gun stores are. And it was like, it started out, you built your character and it's like, steal a car. Okay. I hop in the car, easy enough. And it's like, go get, some clothes or something, or go change your clothes or go get a gun or something. So following the map, I park and I go to hop out and I see another player. I'm like, oh, cool. There's another online player. Dead. Oh, crap.
Wasted.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what happened. He stole my car and drove away. And I'm like, Okay. Got it.
That sucks, but all right. I know what to do now.
Yeah. All right. Don't trust anyone. Got it.
So let's go ahead and jump into our main topic. Now, the main topic is similar is gaming, but retro gaming. What we grew up with.
Yes.
I mean, we're going back into the dirty, stick and hoop, stick ball, kick the can.
Woo woo.
Now technology has taken that to the next level.
Yeah.
No, we're talking going back to like the Sega Genesis, Nintendo.
We're gonna go back to the 2600.
If you want to go,
Go with the old school, the Froggers, the Pong.
but yeah, Joe reminded me. It's like we probably touched on this before, but I just want to know our personal experiences with this and what we grew up with, and how we see gaming nowadays to what we did before. Mm-hmm. And it, like previous with the rant thing with the story-driven games and all that. The technology went from like every 8-10 years might see an upgrade to like every year is something new.
Just about, especially if you're going across manufacturers.
Yeah.
Even within manufacturers, though, I think it's every 3 or 4 years a manufacturer will have a new console, even if it's not a major change, it's still a new console.
Right. It's something. It's a, like you said, a new console. It's a new hardware based upgrade.
Yeah. The biggest thing I get why they're doing, but I'm not a huge fan of is the Slims.
Yeah.
They'll come out with the main console, and then a couple years later they'll come out with a smaller version.
Oh yeah.
Of the same
Well, we were
thing.
able to do the cooling or the heatsink a little bit better.
Yeah.
And it's the same price as the original version. Oh, the original version is dropped $50, $60.
Yeah.
Maybe $100 on a Black Friday.
So again, it's one of those things. I get it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, well, when we were growing up, I saved up and got a Sega Genesis. That was like the best thing in my life. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
I got the Sega Genesis with Altered Beast and the 2 controllers. Mm-hmm. And I think two other games. I forget which ones. It was.
You had. I know you had Echo.
Yeah, I had Echo.
Let's see. There was Alter Beast. There was
Herzog Zwei. It was a top-down game.
Mm-hmm. There was the. Oh my god, I can picture them, but I can't think of the names.
Eventually got Aerobiz. Oh, is a for you kids is a what's the term nowadays? It's not simulator, but is a
simulator might be the best.
It's like Farmville, but with airplanes and airports.
Yeah, you were running an airliner.
Yep.
And you were competing against your friends.
Yeah, whoever you had.
Yeah.
Because you would come over, role play. We'll spend hours.
Oh, yeah.
With
me,
you, my dad,
you, your dad. Yeah,
oh, yeah. That was like our favorite game.
So good.
You had what? The NES?
I had the NES. Yep.
And the best thing I remember you had was the pad. No, if we were doing like you had the Olympics game.
Yeah, oh my god, our thumbs were so sore.
Blisters. Playing for hours, and then you couldn't play anything else because your thumbs hurt.
Beep 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 beep.
But yeah, the jump pad for
Yep.
doing the jumping part of the Olympics game.
And then we had the the gun for the duck hunt.
Oh yeah.
And all that, and you shoot that dog and never dies.
Even though you had the gun pointed right, like up against the screen.
Oh, that was the only way to play Dunk Hunt.
Yeah, you click, 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 and it was a loud like click because it was like this old ancient, yeah,
true mechanical clicker. Yeah,
but it was all this stuff where technology was just like it was just coming out of the Stone Age, so to speak, from the 2600 with the joystick and the maybe two button.
It was a big jump from that style controller to the Nintendo. Like that graphics and everything was
because
huge.
it was Nintendo was 8-bit and the
Genesis is 16.
Yeah, the NES was 8-bit. I want to say because Super Mario Brothers. I mean, it was kind of
It was blocky.
yeah. Super Nintendo was 16.
Yeah, so yeah, it would have been 8
Because-
bits. Super Nintendo was 16, then N64 came out.
Yeah, because
which
that
was
was because the
64-bit.
Genesis was the response to the NES. So, oh well, one up you guys
Yeah,
to 16-bit graphics.
correct. And then
Have a little more color.
yeah, and then the Super Nintendo came out to compete with it.
Yep.
And that's when Genesis did the 32-bit expansion for their system.
Oh, then the Sega CD.
Yeah, which was after that.
And that's
yeah.
when we went to Blockbuster to get Sewer Shark.
Yeah.
Because there's this new game that was basically a game on rails.
Yeah.
Either you go left, right at the point in time where it show the little prompt say, okay, left or right. And if you do the wrong one, all of a sudden you're Splabagans or you die or something.
And used to play Sherlock Holmes too on the Sega CD.
Yep.
I remember that one.
That's when CDs were just coming out.
It was the big thing.
Yeah. It's you can pack more, like a bigger full motion video.
Yes.
Wing Commander.
I think I remember that.
The first with I think Mark Hamill was in it. It's because it was a full motion video Wing Commander, and he was one of the characters. That was going way back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not as far back, but it was awesome. But yeah, with the Sega CD, then a couple generations of consoles that were kind of ahead of their time, the Neo Geo, and the Dreamcast.
And there was another one. I want to say it was called the Jaguar.
Yes, it was the more expensive one because it had like this huge gamepad.
Yeah, that was a
Joystick and
really.
buttons.
It didn't get much because it was so expensive.
I
Yeah.
think it was because at the time the Dreamcast it was like $200 to $400 for the Dreamcast or something, but this was like $600. I'm not sure of the price range, but it was like doubled.
It was pretty crazy.
Yeah, what the current consoles at the time were.
But yeah, there was the Sega Saturn. There was the Dreamcast.
Okay, yeah, the Saturn. I forgot about that.
Yeah, which it was pretty funny because I'm trying to think of how it worked out because it's been a while now, so the timelines are getting a little fuzzy. But yeah, there was there was the original PlayStation. I want to say. I think it was PlayStation. It was the Dreamcast, and it was the Genesis. I think we're all about the same time.
Okay.
Yeah,
because that's when Sony was trying to get into the market because they saw, oh, this is starting to become big now.
And you went from the Saturn to the PlayStation. I remember a friend of ours.
I forget what games it was. Tomb Raider.
Yeah, you had the original Tomb Raider, and I think you had Gran Turismo.
I believe so.
I remember playing it at your house, but I don't remember if it was yours or not.
Or I probably rented it constantly.
Something. But it was that
spending the money to buy the game rental cost.
A friend of ours had the game, the Dreamcast, and I went with the Sega Saturn, and I did it because I had Nintendo and you had Sega.
Yeah.
And we played your Sega more than we did the Nintendo. So when Sega, I was like, "Ooh, I'm gonna get this." And then we ended up playing the PlayStation more than the Sega. I was like, "I can't win."
Well, it's like Sega was like the big thing. You know, Sega. Because it was the big two. It was Nintendo and Sega.
Yeah.
For a good decade. And the little guy Sony decided, hey, I can play too. And
then
it was just a lot of fun games. And there was no multiplayer, no nothing. It was mostly single player or multiplayer 2, 3 at a time.
Yeah.
No online.
Correct. Yeah. No online whatsoever. It wasn't that I can think of. I don't think online came about until Xbox.
Yes, because you had, I think at the time, Xbox Live.
Yeah, Xbox had Xbox Live, and they had. I remember it had the Ethernet port in the back and everything.
Well, we
I'm
also
not sure if PlayStation had
we
it or
moved to
not.
online. We were starting to put our kid toys away, and we started going to PCs
We did, yes,
because that's what Doom
and Duke Nukem 3D,
and Wolfenstein 3D.
Yes. Back
The
when you
big
had the
thing.
dial-up modems.
Oh yeah. working at 14.4, somebody had got the 56K, or like,
Yep.
oh.
And that was back when, in order to play online, you actually had to dial your friend's phone number, and their computer had to answer it, and then would kind of make the connection from there.
And then if someone's parent picked up the phone, you're like, Mom, Dad, stop! Put the phone down, trying to play. And the big thing with what was it? I think it was Doom. We got a you can create your own maps, your own, and then you can share it between other people. Well, I think it was Doom.
Was that Doom or was that Duke Nukem?
Oh,
I think it may have been Duke Nukem.
I think you're right. I think it was Duke Nukem.
Because I remember having that, or at least I had the Duke Nukem.
Both.
Yeah, I was gonna say I had the Duke Nukem version.
Yeah, I think the Duke Nukem version was easier to do because it was more like point and click. Okay, you have a room.
It was pre-built. You just had to put it together like Legos.
Yeah,
yeah.
It was easier to do. Yeah, we're playing the Duke Nukem, and then the latency was horrible because all of a sudden Joe be like, his character be jumping up and down, but on my side he's still sitting there.
Yeah. I was fortunate enough to have. I think I had like the 28.8 modem.
Oh yeah,
I think
because
so. It was
we
a
were
little bit
we
quicker.
were still at the 14.4. You guys had upgraded 28. I think a year or two, or like a couple years later, we were like, oh, 56K.
Yeah,
this came out
flying. Oh my god.
And then that was the end of it.
Yep, that was back in the days of the dial-up AOL internet and
our hijinks. So
we're not getting into that right now.
Not a recorded platform.
Yeah, no, not at all. But then after that, let's see, because that technically was before PlayStation.
Was it before?
I think that
Wolfenstein
was
3D
before.
was the first FPS game on PCs. And that was early 90s, I want to say.
Man.
Like first, like popular or like viable FPS.
Yeah.
My Leben.
Yeah. All the little secret walls.
Yeah. And then the dogs and
then there was, what was it? Heretics or something like that.
Yeah, Heretics.
That was a similar style to
I
it.
forget it wasn't id Software that made it. It was somebody else because they were trying to compete with Wolfenstein.
Yes.
They're like, oh, we can have better graphics and look.
Instead of being Nazis, it was more wizard based and
demons and hellspawns and all that.
Yeah.
It was another one. It was that was at the beginning of like PC gaming.
At least for us.
Yeah, for us, because we were going to the flea markets and doing freeware.
Yes,
and buying a whole bunch of that because the popular thing was getting shareware.
Yeah, absolutely.
And not buying, but getting the shareware and then testing it out, and then you'll send your check a money order.
And then you remember the late loopy nights of playing King's Quest?
Oh yes, Camelot. Oh, and Police Quest.
Yeah. Oh yes, good old Police Quest.
Because I probably talked about before, we're trying to get the guy out of the lake, and you had to do it a certain way, certain things at a certain time to succeed. And if you don't do it just right, you'll fail. So I got so frustrated. Be like, you're gonna throw my gun at him, shoot him.
And then another game that we used to play a lot that's along the same lines of what you were just talking about is Myst.
Oh yes,
the original Myst.
Yeah, and that was with trying to do it without the guidebook at first.
Almost impossible.
Yeah. So we went to not Barnes and Nobles. It was one of the bookstores in the mall.
Yeah.
Borders or something.
I don't remember.
Spending the $25 so we could at least get through the game. It's like, oh, that's how you get the tree down.
Never would have found that. It's in the third book on the 5th shelf, page 200.
Yeah. You got to time it just right.
Yeah.
Because you listen to the ka-chunk.
Yeah.
Ka-chunk, because the tree's coming down. Yeah, Myst was that's another with full motion video.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, it was a small little section on the screen inside the book.
That's all right.
But Myst was actually, and they're coming out.
Great game.
Yeah, they're doing a Kickstarter. They're like the 25th anniversary of the Myst and Riven and that whole series.
I just feel so much older now.
Well, just think, Jurassic Park came out.
Oh, I know. Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But let's see. So after, time frame with all that and the consoles, I don't.
It was kind of a blur. It was
So then after the Saturn, the Dreamcast, and PS1, GameCube came out kind of at an odd time because there wasn't really much. It was around the same time as those consoles, but not at the same time they were.
And this was at the time where Nintendo, they were competing up to that point, and it's like, you know what, we'll do our own thing.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And we'll do.
Wow. It's okay.
Excuse me. It's just, I get so caught up. It's just talking about these. Yeah, they were starting to go in their own direction. We'll do our own stuff. We're not going to like compete on graphics, processor speed, and stuff like that.
Yeah, well, the big thing that they were trying to tote with the GameCube, if I remember correctly, was the portability of it.
Yeah, because it had the inbuilt handle.
Correct. So there was the GameCube, and then it wasn't long after that the 360 came out and the PS2, and then GameCube it didn't stand a chance.
Oh no, it was pretty much dead in the water compared to the other two, because the Microsoft and then Sony were like, all right, we're going to be doing the best of the best. Mm-hmm. We're actually making hardware for hardcore gamers.
Correct.
We're not playing around with the kids anymore. We're for the big kids.
And that's when Nintendo was like, all right, you know what? We're
done. That's when their direction for more all ages.
And they were just focusing on games. They weren't doing consoles. They got out of it for a while.
Yeah, because after the GameCube, it was
the next Nintendo console was the Wii.
That was the gap between the GameCube and the Wii.
If I remember correctly, yeah. That's why I'm like, they got out of it, and then all of a sudden they came back with the Wii, and it was a really big.
Okay, yeah, I think you're right, because it was like the Nintendo's big. Hey, we're back.
Yeah, exactly. And then
but we're still not competing on graphics, because it was a lower res.
It was lower graphics, but they had the difference, the controllers. They
that
had
was their big
controllers.
thing. Yeah.
That was their draw, and that's when so they came out with that. They blew up and got huge. So to compete,
and also the TV sellers are just going because everyone kept tossing their Wiimotes into the TVs.
Well, yeah. So to compete, that's when the 360 added the Kinect.
Oh yeah.
To compete with the Wii, and same with the PlayStation, they came out with the Move.
Well, that was years later, because it was the Wii, the Kinect came out, and then Sony felt left out. So they had the Wii, or
it was like PlayStation Move, I
think,
or
something with the bulb or something on it.
Yeah,
the color bulb. That's right.
Because it was the PS2 had the Move, if I remember correctly,
and it had a better response because the camera can see your remotes. Because it looked like you had lit up lollipops.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But the Kinect had more of it was the full room. It was more technology driven than it was game driven, basically.
And that Kinect hardware and the software went on to do more things.
Oh, it went out of the game world quick. It's still being used, but yeah, it's
the Microsoft build. They kind of hinted that they still have the Kinect. The hardware is still part of their new Office stuff and everything now.
Interesting.
And when I saw that, I'm like, wait, the Kinect hardware?
You can do so much with it.
Yeah, like you can hook up to your PC, and
it's a whole nother market. It's not a gaming thing anymore. Like you could still use it for gaming, but it's not a gaming thing anymore.
Even going away from the gaming stuff, Ghost Hunters. The paranormal investigators use the Kinect stuff because it has the infrared.
All the little dots and everything. Yeah. That's actually pretty just smart.
So that was a little diatribe from.
And then I remember when the Xbox One first came out, it had the Kinect option with it. It was like
separate.
it came bundled. Like you had to get it.
Well, no, they had the two versions. They had with and without.
Really? I thought I could have sworn that when it first came out,
it was after.
with.
It was like the first. It was they did without. Then they said, okay, maybe we'll do both. And it's everyone loves doing this. So
that was the 360. Yeah, at first it came out without it. Then it came with it. But when the Xbox One came out, it was only with the Kinect.
Okay, yeah,
you couldn't Xbox do it One, separately, because the whole point was they were trying to do everything through it, all your voice.
When they started. They kind of did a little misstep. It was a media server.
Yes, because they wanted you to run everything,
movies and everything. Yeah,
yeah, even your TV and like you could not. You could hook up your TV and your cable box through the Kinect, but you couldn't do anything unless you had either a headset or the Kinect itself, because it had to have the voice action.
And another big misstep that they did was having an online internet connection only.
Yes.
So a lot of people were like, how we talked earlier in the episode, you needed a online connected. This is an online connected device.
Correct.
And you couldn't do anything else because it needed that.
But
a lot of people were up in arms.
Yeah, well, I can kind of see where they came from. I agree. I thought I was like, that's nuts. Like, you should be able to play offline. Like, I think they finally added that.
Well, they were kind of ahead of their time because they wanted to get rid of CDs.
They were absolutely,
because they wanted to do download to your actual device,
and they're getting there. They are very much getting there.
But it was at that time like, no, I wanted to buy my physical.
It was huge.
Yeah,
it was.
That's
huge.
when Sony was like, you know what, we can. You don't need internet. We'll still have physical media.
Yep.
Here you go.
That was, and it worked. There was a lot of PlayStation sales.
Yeah, PlayStation sales outgrew Xbox, and they still do to this day, because I think at that time, Microsoft, that was a big stumbling block that they did on themselves.
Well, because I had the PS3, and I went and got a 360 because, as much as I liked the PS3, which I did quite a bit, the graphics were great. The games that were on there were great. But the few times that I did want to play online, like when I was playing the Call of Duties and stuff like that, there was no one there.
You were by yourself.
Yeah. And the PlayStation, the thing that I liked about it was you could play online for free. You did not have to pay, whereas Xbox, you had to pay. But there was no one there, so I went to Xbox and paid, and everyone was there. Like,
that's because Xbox had it was a more robust online system.
Yes,
that's what they had in their favor, because PlayStation was a lot of jankiness, and it wasn't as great as Xbox, because Microsoft was Windows and Office type system, so they kind of had that in their wheelhouse. What they could do better.
So that was when PlayStation added the PlayStation Now or something like that. Their online experience.
Was that the paid version?
They started a paid version, and then with the PS4 and the changes that we just talked about, all of a sudden everyone moved over, and now everyone's able to play online on PlayStation. And you're like, son of a.
No, you're back to as a kid. I'm
on the opposite system.
I got my Sega. Hey, where's everybody going?
So I got my Xbox One, and everyone's on PlayStation. No, it's fine. There's still a huge market, and at least with my group of friends that play consoles, the ones that are smart enough not to play on computers, they do play on Xbox.
You're totes jelly, yo. But yeah, well, the hardware now with like the Xbox One and the PlayStation 4 Ultimate or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to get into current,
it's basically you have a very powerful gaming computer.
Yes, they are intense for what they are, which is awesome. They're still behind.
Non-upgradable.
That's all right.
Non-modular.
What I was going to say,
proprietary.
They are still behind for what you can do on a computer. But if you want to compete with them on a computer, you're going to be spending some money.
Spending the dough. And that's the thing, because Xbox and PS and PlayStation are relatively about the same price. Difference. then you have to worry about, okay, what kind of game exclusives are on whichever one that you want. Like, if you want to play Last of Us, you have to get a PlayStation.
Correct. Yeah, you absolutely nowadays if you're just now getting into a console, there's two things you have to look into. Like you were talking about, the exclusives, and what do your friends play?
Yeah.
Because if you are the only PlayStation person in an Xbox group of friends,
you're all by yourself.
Yeah, you could talk about it all day, but at the end of the day, you're going to be playing with strangers, none of your friends.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, it's like pickup groups are nice, but they're kind of bad because you have the people that, oh, I just got the system, I'm learning to play. What's up, guys?
Yeah.
What's going on? So I push A, right? No, X.
Yeah.
Wrong system, noob.
So, as much as I like to harp, I do understand and I do enjoy and see a use for PC gaming. Like, if you're really into the graphics and all that, like, yes, you can do some beautiful games that you
if you
just
can
can't
afford
get
a 1080.
Well, that's just it. Not only do you have to afford it, but every time a new game comes out, you're most likely going to have to upgrade that software because they are building for the latest, greatest.
Well, I would just, now, I was looking at a new Halo game that they're touting that can only be played on a 180-inch arcade cabinet in 4K because this is like, it's the minimum specs to only be playing it on this cabinet. Like, that's going to be like...
That's niche.
Niche, and it's going to be probably 50 grand. I mean, yeah, there's people out there that, oh, no problem. I'll find it in my couch cushions. Here you go.
Yeah, they'll do something. Or the truly hardcores that will save up and, buy it.
Or go in extreme credit card debt.
Something, yeah.
But it's just the gaming...
Your mass market.
Yeah. The gaming world has just left, like, what we played as kids in the dust.
Absolutely. And it's kind of sad. I wish they would...
It's more like, it's a simpler time.
It is a simpler time. It's more casual than it is nowadays. It's hard to get a game that you can get into and play and at any point stop and then come back and pick up right where you left off. Because
the whole thing's like save points and stuff. All of a sudden you have these health and upgrades and there's a save point. Oh, something bad is going to happen soon. But nowadays it's like, okay, like we said with multiplayer and in the single player, there's really, it's gotten to a whole different aspect of it's got to be now.
Yep.
If you want to be part of this up and coming crew, well, you got to spend the money.
You can spend the money, or you got to put the time into it in order to get to the level or get the equipment to be good.
Because like if I play PUBG, I am constantly wrecked. Unless I'm sneaking around hiding, I can only get into the top 10.
I actually haven't played PUBG yet.
Or Fortnite, it's the same thing. It's just like, I'm sorry, it's not the same thing. Don't send emails or tweets or anything. It's similar, but it's like you have these people that are constantly, that's what they play, and 24 hours a day. And it's just, you and I are kind of like left on the sidelines, like watching the parade go by, like waving, and that's it.
Yeah. Every now and then can jump in and join the parade, but very, very,
the
very
cops
short
come by
amount
and
of
kick
time.
you out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just one of those things. It's like where gaming has this accelerated to a point where our generation, we're playing like Super Mario Brothers, and I love Super Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the style games that we enjoy or are talking about have moved to like your cell phone games. Mm-hmm. That's really like where you can only get those now.
I can't stand those. Yes, I sound like an old. There's thingamajig.
I don't know. I've got a couple of cell phone games that I enjoy playing, but I'm not.
Bejeweled.
No. No.
No, I like the Monument Valley and a couple of those like puzzle games. I love those.
Yeah, see, I've got two that I'm playing currently. One's Summoner's War, which is it can be a pay for play, or you really got to put the time into it. It's literally a game built for just farming for stuff. It takes a special kind of special to play it. That and I've been playing a Elder Scrolls card based game. It's like Magic the Gathering, but it's Elder Scrolls. So that's been kind of fun.
Yeah, that's also, I tried diving into like Hearthstone.
I wanted to. I didn't have the equipment to run it at the time.
You can play it on your phone.
But now,
yeah.
I'm saying when it first came out, I didn't have the equipment that could run it.
But no, it's if you try going up against somebody, you're getting wrecked.
Yeah,
because they have all the good stuff and all the good decks, and like I said, they know they've been playing. So here's some noob I'm gonna kill.
Yeah, basically. I'm here to be target practice.
Yep. So yeah, it's just one of those things where gaming has left us old people in the dust.
Yeah.
But for the new generation, it will tie with our earlier topic, and it's just how things are going from now on. But I think it's going to be in a cycle where single player games are going to come back.
You think they will?
Yeah, and I mean, there is a small segment coming out, the small studios, the indie developers.
Yeah,
that's what they're focusing on because that's what they can do best.
Of course, it's so much easier for an indie to be able to build a story than to try to build online because they don't have the
can't
hardware to run
compete
it
against Rockstar or anybody. Correct. So, in closing this episode, us old people are going to go take a nap. So if you have anything that you played or anything that you said, hey, I like to play this, you might want to check it out. Let us know at one of our many avenues of social media.
And to be fair, it doesn't have to be just on this episode. At any point in time you think it's something interesting, let me know because we are always looking for good games.
Yeah, I showed Joe my Steam collection. I have a lot of games I played. Like I start, and I was like, "Ooh, the new shiny! Oh, I'll start this one. Ooh, a new shiny!" So like the new Tomb Raider. I shouldn't say new Tomb Raider. It came out 2014 or sometime. I bought it on Steam summer sale. My wallet hated me.
Everyone's wallet hates them during a Steam summer
sale.
Wife
kind of got angry at me. So it was one of those things where I was like, okay, I can play these old games for now for like $10, $15, $20 that when they came out were $60.
Yeah, that's
another thing.
Well, and that's where just super quick when we were talking about with Xbox going away from the physical media, they're now toting a monthly subscription. Kind of think of like GameFly, but everything is digital, and you can play all these games that you have to pay for the monthly subscription.
Well, it's old games.
No, it's even new games.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
it's like their Gold Pass or something.
Oops. So not only do you pay for the Xbox Live, but then on top of it, you pay another monthly rate for their game subscription, but you get access. Like there's the what was it, the Sea of Pirates or something like that new game that's out that they're toting.
Actually looks like a fun game too.
It does look like a lot of fun, but you're able to play that on that game. I think PUBG might even be on that list.
Okay.
So there's a lot of
and
new
of course
games.
Fortnite's everywhere. It's free.
So that's
PlayStation has something similar to that.
Oh, do they? I actually haven't even...
I don't know if it's where you pay on your access, but on top of that, you pay for all these games. I forget what it is, but you get to have like the older titles or some. You get the game of the month.
Okay.
So if you know, say, hey dummies, this is what it's called. And let us know. Reach out to our Twitter.
Absolutely.
Our Insta.
On the grams.
Or shoot us an email or on Facebook group, any place. Just let us know if you got ideas, future episodes or anything like that. Let us know. We'll credit you. Say,
yep.
Joe Bob from Indianapolis wanted to talk about. I know you.
Joe Bob, but from Indianapolis. Okay. Maybe he moved there.
I was still pulling stuff out of my butt. It's one of those things. So, hey, thank you for joining us for another episode, and we'll see you on the next. Thanks for listening to this episode of Geek 2.0 podcast. Be sure to check us out on Facebook at facebook.com/Geek 2.0 podcast. Also, be sure to follow us on Twitter at Geek 20 podcast. Don't forget to visit our website at geek20podcast.com for older episodes, news, and much more. And make sure to subscribe to our podcast through your favorite podcatcher player of choice.